Good evening, hello, welcome to Business Live. Coming up tonight, Car Rental Association of Ghana calls on government to grant them tax exemptions on vehicles imported into the country. The Vice President says government will soon issue a 15-year bond to help clear debts in the energy sector. We'll have more on that coming up. Plus, government considers setting up an independent body to regulate cases of piracy and intellectual property. Details of all that and more coming up in this edition of the program. We'll be back shortly.
Business Live today.
Thanks for being with us once again. We begin with our first story where Car Rental Association of Ghana is calling on government to grant them tax exemptions on vehicles imported into the country as a way of supporting the operations. Leadership of the association thinks the contribution of the sector to the tourism industry is very huge and must be supported to stay in business. There's more in this report.
The Car Rentals Association of Ghana is a certified body registered under the Ghana Tourist Board as a stakeholder in tourism promotion in Ghana. At its first stakeholders meeting in Accra under the theme Driving Tourism in Ghana Through Car Rental, operators of the sector said they have a key role to play in the nation's economy. Outlining some challenges facing car rental agencies in the country, President of CRAG, Sefia Boa Okran, noted the cost of doing business is very high, necessitating some financial support from government.
I'm going to follow up with that. I think that, like the theme for this morning, driving tourism in Ghana through car rentals, and tourism permeates every sector of our economy. And if you look at the statistics, tourism still is the fourth contributor to our GDP, national GDP. And if the car rental companies, we drive tourism, then we have a significant role to play within that sector. And I believe if you look at globally, Ghana is a very expensive destination. We have wonderful thing here. Ghana is the center of the world, and we can promote all this. But if you compare coming to Ghana and going to Dubai or Kenya or South Africa, it is so expensive. So the whole idea is how to bring stakeholders together, and like the insurance companies, the fuel companies, the banks, the car dealers, in order to reduce the cost of doing business as far as car rental is concerned. So the net effect will be the customer.
On his part, President of the Ghana Tourism Federation, David Nana Enyim, said if government is giving the private sector some reliefs, car rental agencies must not be left out.
This is a time the government has to look up to the car rental operations in this country. Tax exemption, yes, why should people enjoy, others enjoy tax exemption when others don't enjoy it? It used to be there, but how many car rentals had the opportunity to enjoy tax exemption? Look at the business. It's capital intensive. One vehicle, Land Cruiser, can talk about $100,000. Not only that, then you talk about other services where you have to pay for insurance premium at a high rate. You have to have utility services issues attached. Then you have service people, personnel that you have to work with.
The association agreed to engage government to make their demands known to Parliament after it resumes.
It's a display of financial intelligence and a lot more. It's the Royal Banking and Finance Challenge 2017, which airs on the JoyNews channel from this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. It's an inter-university competition involving 16 top institutions in Ghana with the ultimate aim of improving the level of financial literacy among Ghanaians, starting with tertiary students. Royal Bank is the main sponsor of the event, and Chief Executive Osei Asafo-Adjei has been speaking with Joy Business.
It's all about knowledge and experience sharing, as it is generally agreed. The dichotomy between industry and the universities is very sharp, and it's not helping, because at the end of the day, the students will come out and join the industry, so they must appreciate and experience what obtains in the various industries, and that is why we think this is very important. It will bring them closer to the real banking experience that they should expect when they come out and join the industry. Those that will acquit themselves very well, at least we will give them some internship, and after that, if we find them to be suitable materials, we will continue to engage them fully.
All right, so don't miss the Royal Banking and Finance Challenge, which starts airing on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. here on this channel. I want to take you to the U.S. now, of course, to Washington, D.C., where my colleague George Raff is following the IMF World Bank Spring Meetings. He joins me on the line with more on what has been taking place today. He's joining me via Skype. I hear. George, what's been going on today?
Well, Daryl, as we speak right now, there is an engagement put together by the International Finance Corporation, basically on doing business in Ghana. We've had the Vice President himself speaking right now, and also joined by some senior ministers, including the senior minister himself, Yao Safumafu, the Minister of Doing Business, and also the Deputy Minister of Energy as well. Dr. Amida Anta is also here. The Finance Minister is also here. Now, over the years, you've seen that Ghana hasn't been doing that well when it comes to the Doing Business report. They believe that these engagements should go a long way to convince the some investors that they are committed to improving the situation in Daryl. So that is where we are in the International Finance Corporation headquarters in Washington, D.C., where this engagement is currently ongoing.
Okay, and the Vice President has been speaking about clearing the energy sector debts. What has he been saying essentially?
Well, Daryl, you know that right now, depending on who you engage, in Bank of Ghana or even government, it looks like the amount is quite huge. I've been talking about over $5 billion. And they set up this whole levies to try, this levies and these levies to try and use it to pay this debt. But it looks like that is not enough. And that is why the Vice President has announced that they are looking at this 15-year bond partly to finance this debt, hoping that it could go a long way to clean the sheets of these energy companies, and they can go on and actually have a clean sheet and finance their corporation. So we believe that very, very soon, that announcement to be made with respect to the 15-year bond that will be issued very soon by government.
All right. And are we still looking forward to that meeting between the Vice President and the IMF tomorrow?
Daryl, you're right on that one, and we'll be trying to get you some updates. And this will be a closed-door meeting, but hoping that when he comes out of that, we're going to get some briefings from him as in what is the way forward.
Right, thanks very much indeed. And George, we are reporting from Washington, D.C. That meeting will determine officially whether or not the government wants to continue with the IMF program or not. Now, the Vice President, as we've been telling you, says government will soon issue a 15-year bond to help clear debts in the energy sector. The country is yet to clear significant amounts of debts in the energy sector, despite the introduction of levies to clear the debt. Now, the Vice President also commented on the renegotiation of the Millennium Challenge Compact with the U.S. government to ensure Ghanaians obtain a major stake in privatizing the energy sector.
Right now, ESLA, the energy sector levy, is dealing with all the liabilities of every, one of these SOEs. But what we would do is have one bond which will take off all those liabilities, and government will service those bonds with the ESLA revenue. So it's a much neater situation and allows the space for our energy companies, the VRAs and so on, to have much stronger balance sheets to grow again. again and to invest again and to attract investment again. In fact, in the area of energy, we also talked to the Millennium Challenge Corporation. When we got here, we have been trying to renegotiate the concession agreement. As you know, the NDC government had signed onto a compact as far as concession in ECG was concerned. So we've been talking to the Millennium Challenge Corporation on that matter, and we've renegotiated the agreement in a sense to make sure that this concession agreement, number one, has majority Ghanaian ownership of the concession. We've insisted on that. It has to be majority Ghanaian owned. And secondly, we have to have an assurance that there will be no layoffs at ECG as a result. And also it will be managed by Ghanaians. And so we have got those three elements that we have insisted on, and we have gotten an understanding on these three elements. And I think it's good news for Ghana, and it's good news for all the players in the energy sector.
Meanwhile, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has described the minority's comments on recent 15-year bond sale as mischievous and ignorant. Government has been heavily criticized by the minority in Parliament over how it went about raising over $2 billion from investors. The minority labeled the transaction as being shrouded in secrecy, cooked to favor one investor, and didn't have parliamentary approval. But speaking to journalists after an engagement with investors in Washington, D.C., the Vice President said it's unfortunate for such comments to come from people who should know better.
The minority have never understood this economy, and it's just amazing that people on that side who were actually in charge of managing the economy will be making such statements. It shows ignorance. It really shows ignorance, and I am so sad when I hear that from people who should know better. And so they need to understand. Maybe they should read a little. They need to understand what took place. We issued a CD bond, and there's no secrecy to the matter, and it was very well invested in. The holders have invested many times in Ghana. The bonds that were in place when SECTEC issued them, they bought them 24% interest rate. This time it's 19%, so we are doing even much better. But this is what politics has been reduced to, trying to say things which really have no basis and are basically wrapped in ignorance. So I'm a bit sad, for Ghana and for them, because they are really demonstrating a lot of ignorance of the process of management of this economy. President Nana Akufo-Addo has set us to make Ghana the investment destination of choice, obviously the most business-friendly economy in Africa, and we take this very seriously. And I think, our first budget basically sets the ball rolling in that direction to make Ghana the most business. So I was basically telling the people gathered about what is happening in Ghana, the nature of the economy, the transformation that we want to take place, the initial steps we have taken in the last 100 days, and the promise of more to come, and the promise of transformation in our economy.
And we're getting a response from the minority. Spokesperson on Finance, Kesola Tuforsen, has hit back at the Vice President for describing their view on government's recent domestic bond issuance as ignorant. He insists Dr. Bawumia's comments are not presidential. He spoke with Raymond Akwa.
The voice sounded like him, and I have no reason to doubt that is the Vice President who spoke. But I doubt that this matter can come from the mouth of a Vice President. Because one, it is not presidential, as I said, and clearly the fact that we should recognize that the minority has a big responsibility given to them by the Constitution of this Republic as a major stakeholder in governance to raise concerns when they think that things have not gone well for the betterment of this country. Our concerns are simple. I heard the Vice President talking about the fact that One, the company concerned, Franklin Templeton, has been in the system. We've never denied that. We've said they've been in the system in the past. But what we are saying is the circumstances that this bond was issued is very much so very different from what we have seen in the past. Secondly, the Vice President made comment that in the past we issued a bond at 24%. Let me say clearly and ask the Vice President some few questions. Question one from me to the Vice President. Mr. Vice President, simple.
Okay, so I'll come to your questions, forgive me, because that's the detail that we will explore in this particular case. So you don't believe that the comments from the Vice President was presidential? Are they saying that it's not true? Did you display ignorance of the exact issues that we're talking about at this particular point in time? Since you've been in the ministry, did you deliberately feign knowledge of having to engage this same Franklin Templeton in times past?
I think that's what I was trying to explain, that he was saying that we've engaged them with 24% in the past. And what I'm trying to say is that 24% in the past, the tenor wasn't 7 years. The tenor indeed wasn't 15 years. So you cannot compare a 2-year bond at 24% or 3-year bond at 24% to 19.75% tenor bond.
So
you can also
19 for 15 years, you think is not a better deal than 24%? For how many years was it anyway?
He's making reference to a 2-year bond at 24%.
Yeah.
You cannot compare 2-year bond 24% to that of the a 15-year bond at 19.75.
So the shorter the period, the higher the interest in this case.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Because you are locking it in for a very long time, and one was.
We are taking you to Kumasi next. I'm sure you can guess the story out of there. Business activities in that city are expected to be given a new lease of life as the city witnesses the opening of its first shopping mall. Now, hundreds of residents thronged the 18,500 square meter edifice yesterday to have a feel of facilities available. Some residents are, however, skeptical about the future of relatively small and local businesses, especially around the mall catchment area. Prince Opia has been finding out from stakeholders what they anticipate with the opening of the mall.
Located at Asokwa in the heart of the city, Kumasi City Mall sits on a total land area of 15.4 acres. It provides a modern location for business transactions, social interaction, and entertainment. So what do businesses operating around the mall area think about this novelty?
Yesterday they started building the mall. People also, they come and collapse the business around. But that is not my idea. My competition is before somebody will come around, follow out to the malls, and if he is in the inside car or totro or taxi, you'll see that some is here. So I will enter the mall, ask their price, come down, sit down on how to negotiate, and so that if somebody go, oh, inside mall is 10 or man is 9 or 8, so that means so at the end of the day I'll get something small too. Thank you very much. I say basana obi wo ramo no kura mo na ohu se ubotre wa ha where dey beba na obabu nti wa se uka so obi se wo won for shopping mall. The shopping mall. Nipa kro no onyira anytime bia no what you say me was shopping mall onyira.
Because at first we are having Microsoft here. It brought plenty of people here, and when they went, they vacate from here, our sales go down. So this more, it will boost our sales by all means. When you go to the central market, the tomatoes people, they are plenty there. About 15, they are online, but everybody gets his sales. So this mall is bringing me more sales.
Until the inception of Kumasi City Mall, relatively smaller entities provided one-stop shopping experience for residents in and outside Kumasi. Will this affect them in any way? Jemfua Owusu Ichiao is owner of Mini Mall Abebio Express.
It doesn't actually bring any competition to us. And the Kumasi Mall is not as big as the Westfield malls in the United Kingdom. Now people cannot actually bring substandard goods to sell. Normally, you see the ShopRite, the game, they sell original goods, as the indigenous person may say. So it also behoves on the other smaller malls to actually upgrade the quality of the products they sell. So at the end of the day, the consumer gets the quality that he needs to purchase and value for money. So
you're watching Business Live. From the bars around the Kumasi Mall to something more techy. And Android phone users who want faster speed functions can heave a sigh of relief as they are being offered a new and more efficient option in smartphone experience. Global telecommunications giant MTN has partnered with Fero Mobile to bring to consumers the ultra-modern Fero L100 Android phone.
Fero L100 is another entry point and affordable smartphone that allows smartphone subscribers to experience the bold new digital world. The L100, tagged as a game changer for mobile phones that support 4G, is super fast and comes with remarkable features at an incredible price. It has a 5.0-inch HD IPS screen with a dragon tail glass protection and an exceptionally long battery life. The phone sports a 5-megapixel camera in the front to capture some great selfies, as well as a 5-megapixel rear camera. The L100 is the most affordable 4G-enabled device available to mobile phone subscribers. MTN Ghana became the first mobile network operator to offer 4G service about a year ago. And with all the features that the Fero L100 provides, the telecommunication giants are excited at their partnership with Fero. Noel Kojo-Ganson is General Manager of Consumer Marketing at MTN.
We remain committed to leading the delivery of a bold new digital world to Ghanaians and our customers at large. We continue to invest heavily in our network and roll out innovative digital services aimed at meeting the demands of our subscribers. At this end, Fero today and at this launch is available in all our shops across the country, and you have the opportunity to walk in at your own time and pick up a Fero L100 for yourself.
Sandeep Narayanan is Regional CEO for Fero Mobile.
The L100, as you see, it's a beautiful device, but it's a 5-inch device which comes with it's the most affordable 4G device in the market currently. And it's a 5-inch device which comes with a 5-megapixel front and back camera.
You're watching Business Live. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with our interview of the day.
Business Live today.
Welcome back. Our interview of the day now, and Executive Director of the Natural Resource Government Institute, Emmanuel Koyole, has been applauding the efforts by the private sector against on the fight against illegal mining. Here's his interview with Joy Business.
Potential for transfer pricing and illicit business deals. So this is very, very important.
It's not backed by law yet. So how is it going to be possible? Is it not a toothless bulldog?
No, it's not. I mean, you don't. I mean, there are one argument that says that EIZI is flawed because it is just a voluntary initiative. However, for me, I don't think you really need a law to do what is right. And basically what is right is to make sure that natural resources which are owned by the people of Ghana benefits the people, improving transparency and governance in the sector. Sometimes you need laws, but there are a lot of laws that we can apply to the extractive sector already. So if you take the issue of beneficial ownership, the Companies Act has just been amended, introducing provisions for beneficial ownership disclosure in the Companies Act that can be applied to the extractive sector, even if you don't have an EITI law.
So we are back next week with Business Live. Stay tuned. Enjoy your weekend.